Tzu Chi submits its plan to buy BNT vaccines to Taiwan Food and Drug Administration. Tzu Chi volunteers in Cambodia deliver pandemic prevention supplies to 2 hospitals. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Su. Thank you for joining us. On June 23rd, Tzu Chi Foundation has submitted its procurement plan to buy 5 million BNT vaccination doses to the Taiwan Food and Drug Administration. After the pandemic broke out once more in Taiwan, Tzu Chi Foundation allocated 1 billion NT dollars into pandemic relief and medical supplies. As Taiwan is in need of COVID vaccines, Tzu Chi Foundation said that it hopes the vaccines will help life in Taiwan return to normal. Let's take a look.
Tzu Chi Foundation's goal to donate vaccinations has made progress. Tzu Chi Charity Mission CEO Yan Bo-wen, Deputy CEO He Risheng, and a lawyer made their way to the Food and Drug Administration of Taiwan, submitting their procured plan to buy 5 million BNT vaccines. Vaccine purchasing is like racing with time. Our mission in Tzu Chi is to save lives. Therefore, through the legal process and preparing documents, we hope to purchase vaccines as soon as possible for citizens. Facing the complicated vaccine import process, Tzu Chi overcame several challenges. This motivation to purchase vaccines has started last year till now. In mid-May, after the pandemic broke out once more in Taiwan, Tzu Chi immediately set out an aid plan. This time we focus on people in Taiwan. The 1 billion TD funding is used to provide medical supplies and pandemic relief. The funding was also used to set up rapid screening stations, as all Jingsi halls around Taiwan have set up vaccination stations. Medical supplies such as oxygen generators, protective clothing, and medical masks were also provided by Tzu Chi. It is hoped that the vaccines will help more people in Taiwan, reducing the impact of the pandemic.
As the pandemic worsens, citizens are more willing to get vaccinated. As of now, the government allows seniors to receive vaccinations first. But recently in Taiwan, many seniors passed away after vaccinations. The unfortunate cases have greatly impacted the willingness of citizens to receive vaccination. In the northern part of Taiwan, a father and a son pair who volunteered with TIMA served at a vaccination station answering people's questions. Let's join them there. On this day, Huang Shixing took his grandmother to Luzhou Jingsi Hall for vaccination. Recently, many seniors died after receiving vaccinations, which led to panic and confusion for most. Is the Huang family worried?
If you are above 65, and for a person who might develop severe symptoms, I suggest that you should get vaccinated. It's safer to get vaccinated.
Huang Shixing is a new doctor. After graduating from Chang'an University, he took on the job of a doctor in Far Eastern Memorial Hospital. His father, Huang Xiangling, is a dentist. Both the father and son are part of TIMA, as on a holiday, both of them arrive at the vaccination station to answer questions.
Like yesterday when I was at the Xingdian Jingsi Hall, I answered questions for people. Some people have questions after seeing the news, so they'll ask me if they should get vaccination. Then I will tell them my thoughts on vaccination. It's great to be here, because many other senior doctors are also here. This child has a kind heart. At first he had several complaints, saying the lunchbox is not delicious. But now he can feel who needs help and care. He never knew how many people Tzu Chi has helped, and now he is part of Tzu Chi.
After senior receive vaccination, a 30-minute break is set as Dr. Huang Xiangling carefully explains the precautions of post-vaccination.
With this opportunity, we can tell these seniors from a medical viewpoint, vaccination has a higher chance to trigger allergies if one eats meat more. We often say that eating shrimp or crabs brings allergies upon smelling, so I told the senior to eat less meat. Though it is tough to eat vegetarian food right on the spot, I told him to eat less seafood and eat more vegetables. I also told them that when you see others having allergies with vegetables, they must have allergies with meat.
Careful reminders and a promotion of vegetarianism, Huang Xiangling often participates in team activities, helping homeless people get a denture while understanding their sufferings. As there are many people in line to get vaccinated at the vaccination station, and with a fast increase of tasks, medical staff is heavily lacking. Due to this, many doctors cross departments to support one another. In Taipei City Hospital, Dr. Zhou Bozhi came to help Lu Zhou Jingsi Hao. On a hot day, he's busy helping others and takes short breaks to cool down.
但我们穿隔离衣一定会比较不透气心静自然凉，自己在。
We have to wear protective clothing, so it will be airtight. We have to be calm and stay cool, and do some breathing exercises to let ourselves feel lighter. We will pay attention to the seniors' body conditions, and if they are dehydrated, we will ask them to drink water before getting vaccinated.
As doctors, patients, and volunteers collaborated, everyone worked hard towards the goal of herd immunity, as it is hoped that once normal life may return. In Cambodia, the pandemic situation is still severe. City volunteers in Phnom Penh deliver protective materials to 2 hospitals specializing in the treatment of COVID patients. In addition, city volunteers have distributed aid supplies for low-income families affected by the pandemic. Let's take a look.
At the Tzu Chi Cambodia liaison office, volunteers successfully moved rice from the office to fence for the distribution. This time, 128 Muslim households in Rasikot district are to be assisted.
We are a small family. These supplies are probably enough for us to use for a month or 2, which can alleviate our burden.
The location of the distribution this time was chosen in the square of the mosque. Volunteers have placed each set of material on the ground at a safe distance in advance to avoid clustering infection risks. Volunteers also seized the opportunity to promote vegetarianism.
There's a saying among the Chinese that sickness comes from the mouth. It is our mouth that causes the body to get sick. So we have to change our eating habits and eat more vegetables, not for religion, but for health.
Today we are very fortunate to have the help of Tzu Chi. Volunteers just said that everyone is from the same global village, and we are a family. Although we have different religions, we must help each other so that this love will continue.
Cambodia volunteers also continue to support the frontline. They visited 2 hospitals located in Kampang, Zhangyang, and Tako province, which specialize in treating COVID patients, to donate protective equipment.
These supplies are very helpful to our hospital because there is really a lack of protective materials, especially protective gowns, auto thermometer, alcohol, sterilizer spray, larger bottles of alcohol. Those are really convenient for us. Thank you very much.
The pandemic has not slowed down yet. Cambodia's Tzu Chi volunteers have done their best to provide hospitals and residents with what they need so that this protective net of love can keep the virus out.
Taiwan has been at level 3 alert for COVID-19 for 1 month already. In contrast, New York vaccination rate is nearly 70%, which is the state governor lifting the lockdown. And following, we have Daphne Liu, our reporter in New York, to tell us about the current situation.
I am standing next to the public library in Flushing, Queens. In May of this year, vaccination stations like this one are available at a first-come, first-serve, no reservation required. In reality, there are 80 vaccination spots in New York City like this one, as President Biden hopes to achieve 70% of the vaccination rates, at least the first dosage, by July 4th, Independence Day. In the Asian community, the rate of those who have been vaccinated is over the average of those in New York City. Learning these numbers, the Asian community is optimistic about the reopening. The public library in Flushing, Queens provides vaccinations each morning from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., where the two buses have become temporary vaccination stations. These two buses mainly serve the nearby Asian community.
I came to New York to make money. In order to make money, I need to protect my health. I can't get sick. There's no downside to getting a vaccine, only positive, so I'm here.
The month and a half of strong promotion and service has resulted in 67.6% of those 18 years and over getting at least the first vaccination dosage. Though it is not yet the 70% needed to reopen the state, the governor has already lifted the lockdown on June 15th. New York City has achieved 66.4%, while Flushing is at 73.2%, well over the state's average. President Biden hopes to achieve a 70% vaccination rate of at least the first dosage by July 4th across the country. As of June 15th, they have achieved 53.2%, which means there is still a ways to go.
If we achieve 70% vaccination, then our whole population will achieve immunity. We hope to get there in a few more months. Currently, the government is offering many programs to encourage people to get vaccinated. If you get a shot, there are rebates or tickets to games. There are lots of sponsors to get more people to get vaccinated.
As vaccination becomes more commonly available, businesses are alive once more. Many of the restaurants and businesses on the major streets of Flushing have experienced significant increase in revenue.
The pandemic is under control with everyone getting vaccinated. I got my second shot on February 19th. Now there are many people out. In these 2 months, business has resumed to about 70 to 80%. In the past, it was only about 30 to 40%.
As you can see, there are people here each day, and business has returned to pre-pandemic life. I come by twice a day, and customer flow has returned. After vaccination, we have seen an increase in customers. Everyone is not as scared as before.
Currently, restaurants in Flushing are opening up about 60%, while both public and private offices are also opening back up due to the rise in vaccination rate. In order to fully reopen the state, the Health Bureau also spent $1.6 million in advertising to encourage vaccination, which have yielded good results, it seems, as New York is ready to welcome the renewed life. Tzu Chi New York chapter is slowly resuming community services, beginning with the mobile vision clinic at the end of May. It is currently dispatched once every 2 weeks in Flushing to help disadvantaged citizens who don't have insurance or can't afford to pay for prescription glasses. Each session serves about 20 patients. Due to this reopening, a new team of volunteers were recruited. Most are students who are using their summer vacation to do something meaningful as the pandemic lockdown lifted. The familiar eye checkup begins as the mobile vision clinic opens its doors once more. The Tzu Chi New York chapter has been serving the Asian community in Flushing since the end of May to help with free prescription glasses. Ms. Wang had severe myopia as a young adult, and then later on cataracts and presbyopia. She recently had surgery on her right eye, but it has not restored her vision, to which it is affecting her daily life. Her friends suggested she go to Tzu Chi, and she waited for just an hour and got her glasses.
They checked my vision and gave me glasses. The doctors are very kind and explained things in detail.
During the lockdown, many have stayed at home and used computers far more often than before. As the optometrist says, he's seen a decline in vision. This premier free clinic, held in a predominantly Chinese community, is to help those without eye insurance or those who need emergency glasses.
Most of the patients that we saw today were on the older side, and most of the patients were here for pretty much reading glasses. Because of this whole COVID, because of this whole virus, everyone's been at home. No one's really been able to get out to make glasses.
To prepare for hosting free clinics once more, the New York Tzu Chi chapter started recruiting for volunteers in April and gained some new youthful volunteers. Some were future ophthalmologists, while others found Tzu Chi from the internet and wanted to give back to society.
I spoke Mandarin to them since most of them are like elders or like young adults that need like glasses for reading or like driving. Yes, definitely. Coming next time too. Okay. For training also and for the food pantry events and any other events that they let me know about.
It's also great to interact with various patients from many different ages, and it's a great practice to train ourselves to be comfortable talking to patients.
Before reopening, the Mobile Vision Clinic also restarted to not only serve the people, but also inspire youth in the community. On July 4th, the United States is scheduled for reopening, and the day before, on July 3rd, the New York Tzu Chi chapter will hold a 30th anniversary celebration. You can see this wall is filled with the history of New York Tzu Chi volunteers. The ceremony will start at the auspicious time of 10:13 as a symbol of the compassionate acts that we are all capable of doing each day.
In Fujian, China, Tzu Chi volunteers have implemented environmental protection in various communities for many years. Many elders come to do recycling every day and regard the recycling station as their second home. Let's meet these dedicated recycling volunteers.
Wrapping in floral handscarves and singing songs, they are volunteers at Huangtang Recycling Station in Hunan County. The head of the station is 84-year-old Zhou Yalian, who is also write a song. She combined everyone's experience in doing recycling into the lyrics.
I was inspired to write this song because when I went to Longhu, the volunteers over there took a good care of us. We just sat there doing recycling and they were busy preparing snacks to us without asking for our help, so I was deeply moved.
This recycling point is one of the earliest recycling stations in Quanzhou. Everyone treats here as a second home. During the holidays, volunteers will organize activities to create a festive atmosphere.
It's like my own home here. There are so many people here, which makes life easier.
In Shunchang County, volunteers from Sangfeng DaAi Village also led residents to do recycling. In order to care for the residents' health, Tzu Chi organized free medical services. For people who cannot go out, there are doctors and nurses who come personally. The bedridden woman had been suffering from diabetes for many years and was depressed. Volunteers and doctors gave her heartwarming suggestions.
It's okay if you can't go out for a walk, but you can massage your stomach yourself so your digestion will be better, right? You can try to do these things. You can't solve the problem if you cry over there. You might as well do some practical things.
While recycling volunteers are gathering the earth, Tzu Chi volunteers and doctors are gathering their health so that the power of caring for the earth can last forever.
In Taiwan's energy transition policy, reducing coal-fired power generation is an important goal. The main reason is air pollution caused by coal-fired power plants causes greenhouse effect. However, how do we make up for the shortfall caused by reducing coal-fired electricity? And is there really less pollution from alternative energy sources? To learn more, follow our report.
民主有事吗？
民主很有事哦。
那来说说看有什么事吧。
Do I think Taiwan has a way to develop clean energy?
干净能源是什么呢？
What is clean energy? Let's define it first.
干净的能源就是
My definition of clean energy is what nature gives us. This is what I call clean energy.
干净能源。
Energy issues have become a hot topic in Taiwan recently. Even scholars from the Academia Sinica have joined the discussion on podcasts.
Since we started to understand the issue of climate change, there are three energy sources: fossil fuel, coal, natural gas, and oil. It is best to eliminate all. We have worked hard on this for so long, but now natural gas has suddenly become a clean energy source. This is absolutely wrong.
Coal was produced by plant matter that was squeezed underground and subjected to high temperature and high pressure for a long time before it decayed. As the early industrial revolution took place in the 19th century, humans discovered that coal-fired power generation was very useful. In the early 20th century, it was discovered that oil is even better than coal, but neither of these are clean energy sources.
Carbon is its most important component, followed by hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. But the most important carbon, once it's taken out and undergoes chemical change and combustion. We all know that carbon plus oxygen will produce carbon dioxide.
According to the 2020 National Greenhouse Gas Emissions Report released by the EPA, Taiwan's total greenhouse gas emissions have doubled from 130 million tons in 1990 to 290 million tons in 2018. The decline in the next few years was not large. The Paris Agreement hopes that global warming must be controlled within 1.5 C by 2050. This leads some to believe Taiwan's contribution appears to be seriously inadequate. Our main source of carbon emission is coal-fired power generation, which accounts for 45% of total power generation.
How can we reduce carbon emissions as much as possible in the process of coal power generation? One is to increase the efficiency of power generation, that is, the efficiency of energy conversion, so that every kilowatt of electricity we need can rely on less coal. Another way is try to make sure that scientific and technical methods can be used in the process of carbon capture. When it comes to carbon dioxide emissions,
Taiwan currently has 6 coal-fired plants, including Taipower and private power plants. If the equipment is old, the efficiency of operations is not high. If there is no environmental protection measures, Taiwan's problem with air pollution cannot be solved.
Why people are afraid of burning coal is actually because of air pollution. It gives out sulfur oxide and nitrogen oxide in the combustion process. This is very common. And then there is carbon monoxide and suspended particles, PM10, PM2.5, etc., and heavy metals. So in fact, air pollution produced during a combustion process can be very serious.
For Taipower's approach, as long as coal-fired units are replaced with new ones in Linkou and Dalian, using ultra-supercritical boilers will improve efficiency almost close to gas power plants. What about the existing subcritical units? It does not matter if the emissions are not good, because we can strengthen its environmental protection through air quality control systems. After investing 9 billion NT dollars in environmental protection projects, the carbon emissions of power generation will improve a lot.
We all want clean and convenient energy, but we also need healthy lungs. The greenhouse effect brought about by climate change is becoming stronger and stronger as reducing coal-fired power generation is already a global trend now, meaning Taiwan needs to make hard choices when it comes to energy transition.
In the United States, city volunteers assess damages in the aftermath of a tornado in Chicago. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.